Hey, I'm John Storms, and I'm going to show you how to use Nutcracker to create some amazing and awesome effects, even if you're not using RGB. This is for regular AC channels on your Light-O-Rama. So you start off by grabbing the latest version of Nutcracker. This is something I do pretty much every time I go to use Nutcracker because they update it so frequently. You just go to Nutcracker Releases, and it is perfectly safe to install over your previous version. And you just go with all the defaults for setup. Installs very quickly. Actually, most of the install are all of these timing files that they provide you. Okay, so now we're already in place. So I go to start up Nutcracker, or Xlights. And what I have set up already, and this is from my previous configuration, is I have the show directory set up. This is where all the files live. And then I have my pixels configured here. Now, I'm using a combination of Light-O-Rama channels and pixels, so I happen to have pixels set up. To do what we're doing, you just have to have some channels set up. It doesn't matter what, where, what they're mapped to, just so there are some channels, some configuration here. We're gonna set up some pixels to capture some effects, but then we're just going to copy and paste, so it doesn't matter what these are mapped to. Then we go over to the Nutcracker tab, and here there are a couple of things. This general area here is setting up the sequence. This area here is setting up the effects. This is a preview window. This is also kind of helping set up the effects in terms of how they map to each other. But what we want to play with first is we want to play with models. So we come up here and we say we want a new model. And I'm going to call this Big House. Okay, and we pick the type, the display as custom. Okay, what that means is we're going to draw in our own little custom model, and so it's really hard to see here. So we want to make sure we get it right. So I say the width is going to be 26, and I hope it's right, and 13 high. I click OK. So I come back to Big House, hit modify, and just because I can't see it, I want to verify that that's really how big it is, and it is. Your type of string is RGB nodes. It would be handy if we had a way to do this with single channel, but we don't, so I use RGB nodes for now. And this is currently in 3.4.5, so who knows, in a future version they may actually switch. It's a little easier. And then start channel is 1. And then part of my display just means that it shows up in the preview window. Okay, so that is the Big House model. So now what I'll do is I'll go in here and I will place channels. So they designed this so if you wanted to create a snowflake, or let's say a cross, because crosses are easy, I can come in here and do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And then I can go over here, 8, 9, 10, 11, and so on. So you could create a cross element, right? Now, when it outputs, so you can output your sequences from Nutcracker as LMS or as Light-O-Rama. And when it outputs it, it will give you a sequence where the first row will be this one, the second row will be this, then this, then this, and it will follow the order, the numbering order here. Okay, now I don't want them to look like this, so I'm going to zero all these out. And the next time I come in, there won't be zeros, they'll just be blank. Okay, so now I want to go pull up Light-O-Rama. Okay, and I'm going to open up one of my sequences. Doesn't matter which one. Batman Smells. Okay. Now, of course, I have my master track where I just keep adding channels. I don't insert or delete channels from here. The tricks track is where I do all of my work. So what I'm saying is on my house, what I want to do is in that custom model, I want to capture all of these snowflakes and wreaths that I have on my house, because I want to put these to an effect. Like I want to do a wave from left to right and back and forth, up and down, and whatever other cool things Nutcracker will allow me to do. So what I want to do is I want to put each one of these channels in as a number onto that grid. Okay, now it's going to output them as RGB nodes, but we have a little trick that will map them back correctly. So what I have to do is I have to do them in order, because I know that the first channel that I put in there is 1 will be the first channel output is 1. I go to paste this, I want this to line up. So this wreath 1 is the first one, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, then it goes 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, and so on. And then I think I forget how the rest work, but I have them numbered out. So when I come down here, when I go to paste this in, I want to be able to paste starting at wreath 1. So this will be the equivalent of channel 1, channel 2, channel 3, and so on. So I want to make sure that I put them in this order. So I'm going to go back to the model, going to modify big house, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to put them into this grid so that they line up with this. Now it's kind of hard to space out where that first wreath is, but this first on the garage is this first snowflake on the garage is easy. So I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this is 8. So I'm going to start with 8. I'm going to come down here and I'm going to say 8, 9, and then I go over the top of the garage, 10, 11, 12, then it's 13, 14, so that's the first arch that goes over my garage. Now it's the second garage, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Now the spacing of these isn't super important, okay, but what you want to do is make sure that it's relative to each other, okay, because that's really what's going to matter. Then here above 10 I got some snowflakes in the roof. Those are 23 and 24th in order, okay, so the numbers I'm putting in are basically the order that I want those rows of data to come out. Okay, then above 17 here I have 29. And this window is tiny, so you gotta scroll around a bit. 28, 27, 26. Now, my first channel is actually right here. That represents the wreath. Okay, 30 is a snowflake under the wreath. And this is 31. More snowflakes. These are snowflakes going around the window that the wreath is on. And this is 25, which is the snowflake on the top of that portion of the house. So I got that side all set up. Okay, just make sure I get it right. Okay. Then we continue around the side to the side here, and there's another snowflake, 39, 40, 41, 42, and then we have the wreaths. So this is the second wreath, 3, 4, and then we have a snowflake on the bottom of the middle of the first roof. This is the snowflake on the tippy top of the house. This is another snowflake on the roof on that side, and then this one on this side. Now we're moving to the right side of the house. 46, 45, 44. This is the snowflake at the peak of the right side. 52, 51, 50, and then wreath 5 is right in the middle there on that window. There is a big snowflake right underneath it. 47, 49, and this rounds out the other side of the house. So this is, I call this one T1, T2, and then T3. Now we come down here to the porch. This is wreath 7, wreath 6. These are snowflakes on the columns, flanking the cactus. 53 and 54. So I got a little piece of graph paper here where I've graphed this out, and I didn't need all 13 rows, but it works out fine. Okay, so I click OK. It's big house. I go over here to preview. See? And that's, well, actually, that's my map.house because I got all these others on there too. But big house is the one I'm interested in. Okay, so now I come over here and I say select model and I select big house. Then I can come over here and I can pick an effect and hit play, and voila, there's my house. Okay, so you can see these lights are basically in the same relative position that I have them here in the analyzer. See that? And so the idea is I build the effects here, export them to a Light-O-Rama file, and then I can use that to build an effects library that I can use on the house here. Now, these are regular AC lights. They're not color changing lights. So they're just basically on, and this is doing RGB. So the first thing I need to do is I need to switch them over to white. Now, I actually have two colors I have to pick from. I could do white or I could do black, but yeah, depending on the effect. So first thing I want to do is I want to come up with an effects library. So in order to do that, I need to start a sequence. So to start a sequence, I just say open, and I'm going to do a Light-O-Rama sequence. Well, actually, I'm going to do a new musical sequence, and sure, I'll use the Batman Mills song again. Okay, I come right here and I insert a bunch of slots. These are timing slots, and then I come over to display elements and I say use big house, the model I just created. And now I have this here. Okay, now I put in start times. What I like to do is I like to give each one of these effects about 5 seconds to run. That way I get a good feel from it, because I'm going to be pasting from here, and I want to make sure that I have a decent effect. Now you can put a label here. I'm not going to. It's going to be pretty easy to remember, and it's not going to carry over anyway. So I want to come up with a left to right effect, so I can come over here to curtain. Now look at this. What is off? So you see that? There's something off right there with what should be 26. So let me go in here to model quick. Now let's see if I can figure out what's going on here. This is not the model I want. I want big house. So let's see, 26, 27, 28, yeah, that's right. So did I get a 26 someplace else? I sure did get a 26 right there. See, 26 there, 26 there. This should be 36. Now the wonderful thing about Nutcracker is that since it operates in real time, you can pick up on stuff like that and fix it on the fly. Okay, so close. See that? You know what that is? That is a wave from left to right. So I can say I like that one. So I'm going to highlight this, pause the effect. I say update grid, and it popped that effect in right there. Okay. Now if I really like that effect, I can go into effects presets and I can save this as an effect and come back to it. So now what I want to do is, of course, I want to reverse it, right? Because I want to be able to do the effect from the other direction. So now I got the other direction, so now I have left to right, right to left, and well, shoot, is it going to do this for me too? It sure is. So now I go from bottom up, and now we'll do it from bottom. So now I got all my basic effects, and now you can do a lot of cool things with this. For example, you can do meteors. Of course, you want to go and use a palette, use the black and the white. See, so there's meteors. On my house, these do a little better coming from the side. The garlands is a really great effect. I'll turn off the black. See that? And then you can speed it up, slow it down. And just come in here and play with it. I like that one. I'm gonna keep that one. And then let me show you circles. You can do some great thing with circles. So I need to reduce the size. Number of circles, pretty much when we get to one, a little bigger. make it bounce. See that? Speed it up. Maybe make it a little smaller still. See that? You can do, I'll slow it down, and you see you can do kind of a spotlight effect across your house. Cool, huh? So we'll add that one too. Whoops. Added it right there. I'll go back and get the garland. Twinkle, you can do some cool effects with Twinkle. I like that one. We'll throw that one in there too. Okay. So now, go over here, hit export, and we'll say FX 2014. Okay, and it just so it exported all of that. So now I go over, quit without saving. Yep. Come into here. Gonna close this. Open. Now I save all my Xlights stuff to the Xlights directory, so I need to go up one. Oops. Xlights, and here's my fix. Okay, so these are all the effects that I wanted. Okay, that's what they look like. So now, if I say, okay, I'm gonna use this as, now I'm using this as a temporary file, so I'm gonna go and create myself an effects library. So I'm gonna say, give me a new sequence. And I like musical sequences. I'll use the same song just so the timing is right. I'm gonna import my channel configuration. Because they don't add any timings. Okay, here we are. So what I'm going to do first, I'm going to come in here, select row, and edit, copy the timing. Come over to here, paste timing, and voila. So there's my timing. I accidentally clicked on this. Actually, it doesn't hurt anything. Okay, and now I have my tricks track here as well. And as long as I'm consistent about where I stop and start, I should be good. Okay, so I come into here, wreath 1, use the timing grid. Whoops. This is where I want to be. Alright. So I come in here and I'm going to say I want to copy all of this good stuff. I'm like, oh, wait a minute, I got all these channels I don't need. If they bug you, you can delete them. They're not hurting anybody. Except they're awful in the way. Alright, so I go and I copy all this. And I do a copy. I come over to here and I go to wreath 1 and I paste, and it's completely wrong. If I go in here and we watch it, you'll see. And this is what I got one of the first times I tried. So you come into here and you play it.
Jingle bells, Batman smells, Robin laid an egg. The Batmobile lost the wheel and Joker got away. Hey, jingle bells.
So it's doing effects, it's just that they're all wrong. Okay, because they don't line up. Since it's doing RGB, it pulled out, and we're doing solid on, it pulled out red, green, blue, red, green, blue. So I got 3 times as many channels as I actually wanted. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to go and duplicate this track, and I'll call this Xlights import. Okay, and then it's using the timing grid I want. And what I do in order to compensate for it is for every one of those channels, I come into here, scrunch it up a little bit, come into here and I'm going to say insert multiple channels below. How many? 2. Okay, now these channels map to no device. They are purely dummy channels. They are just there to take up space. So we don't have to program them at all. Now notice I am not doing this in the master track. You do not want to do this in the master track. See? And what we're going to do is we're just going to go through like this, and we're going to add 2 dummy channels for every real. Okay, so now what I've done is I've put in 2 dummy channels for every real channel. So now I go over to my effects, and I can copy all of this data. Edit, select rows, copy. I come over here to my effects. I find that first wreath right there, and I hit paste, and there they are. There's all my data. See? This is one. This is a good channel, and then 2 dummy ones. Now, when I go to my other tracks, alright, I don't have, like I go back to my tricks track, I don't have those dummy channels, so I just have the real ones. So now if I come back here and I play this, and I don't need any music to this, that's just for holder, I come back here and I play, I should get my cool effects. See that? So that's the one wave. Wave in the other direction. We have up. We have down. And so, and then here comes the circle. Circle sometimes you have to play with because it kind of randomly, so it's kind of, that's a little too, that's got to probably play it down or something. So now, if I want to use this in my real sequences, all I have to do is I come over, like let's say I want to get this portion here. So I grab from wreath 1, whoops. So I get a feel by spotting it where it starts, so it's right about there. So I start at wreath 1, and I copy a chunk of it out. Right, so I do a copy, and then I open up a song. Let me go back to the Batman Smells, and I go to Tricks, find my wreath 1 right here. I select the portion where I want it to show up. I come in, I say paste mode, stretch to fit, which means it will make it fit in that portion right there. I paste, and there it is. So now if I play it,
Jingle bells, Batman
on the house. I don't really want that there, so let me remove this while I can. And that's it. So you save, you can repeat that once you have the template for importing it and pasting it. You can do that over and over and over. So it allows you to use the Nutcracker effects on your normal AC powered Light-O-Rama channels. Thanks for watching.